Joining me now is Dr. Imelda Deinla, ANU professor and director of the Philippines project. She joins me now live. Thanks so much for your time. First, can I ask you, would you categorise this as a crackdown, or is that, a sensationalist word we use here in the media?
I think right now it is part of the beginning of a widespread crackdown that is probably happening soon. And definitely this measure is sending a strong message to all the media outlets to toe the line. So license revocation and closure of media had happened only during the martial period. So this is an unprecedented move because this is happening in the time when, Duterte is a democratically constituted government.
Yeah, he is indeed, but he appears from the outside looking in to be going after the media that first got him elected. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. But, he doesn't need the media right now because he has the government media, and his army of trolls at his disposal. And I think, any dictatorship or authoritarian regime considers press freedom or an independent press as anathema to that type of regime that shuns transparency, accountability and scrutiny.
What's behind this, do you think? What's Duterte's motivation? Because we've heard, at least here in Australia, a little less about the extrajudicial killings. So is this perhaps just a strategy to deflect such attention from that issue?
No, I don't think so. It is actually part of a coordinated strategy by this government to actually to impose this authoritarian regime. And this is not an isolated event, of course, the extrajudicial killings, but we see also the progressive diminishing of independence and integrity of independent institutions, such as the Philippine Supreme Court, the Commission on Human Rights, and the Ombudsman.
Okay, we have seen some criticism from international world leaders from some of President Duterte's methods, particularly when it comes to this extrajudicial killing. I think he's been called the Trump of the Philippines a few times, which we can't make direct comparisons there. But what can Australia do in terms of putting diplomatic pressure on the Philippines? Is there anything you'd call on the Prime Minister or perhaps the Foreign Minister to do?
I think right now diplomatic pressure is not working, and you can see that he is as popular as he was when he was elected. But I think Australia, as one of its biggest aid donors, can actually shift its aid assistance to helping civil society groups to resist this onslaught on our democratic institutions and freedoms. And of course, as we know, a democracy can only exist in a vibrant and vigilant civil society.
Would you pull aid altogether, though? Because what usually happens is you pull aid, and President Duterte doesn't seem, on the face of it, someone who would respond to such pressure. Isn't it just the people of the Philippines who would then suffer?
I think I'm not saying that we should pull out the aid, but I think we should really redirect the aid where it matters, such as really building independent institutions, accountability mechanisms, and also law and justice mechanisms that can function, can perform its mandate without fear or favor. But of course, at these times when our democratic institutions are assaulted, I think really the support is, to gear it towards our human rights defenders and rule of law champions in the country.
Dr. Imelda Deinla, thanks so much for your time. We'll speak to you again. And you